My friends and fellow countrymen, the fact is simply this, that from the first time I went to sea I commenced a regular journal, which now enables me to inform my fellow countrymen how I have, and no doubt many now do, fared on board of His Britannic Majesty's floating torments. None of my countrymen who have had the good luck to escape from those tyrants have ever given a statement of the manner they were treated of, or the proceedings on ship I.J. Austin, Esquire, and Captain Nathaniel Thay, a ship handler. Captain Thayer was the first lieutenant on board the frigate, who all informed me that my statement appeared to be founded on candor, and no doubt would be very useful and enlightening to young American seamen, in case they should be so unfortunate as to fall into the hands of His Majesty's naval officers. And I presume to say there is no man who ever belonged to any of those vessels which I was so unfortunate as to be in, can contradict what I here assert for truth. Joshua Davis, 1811. This diary account of Joshua Davis was published in 1811 in Massachusetts, and informed the American populace of the impressment of American sailors, which would be one of the reasons the War of 1812 would start a year later. The War of 1812 is often overlooked war, much like the Spanish-American, yet the locations of major battles are located near major cities such as Washington, D.C. and New Orleans, and are often near battlefields from the Revolutionary War or Civil. Yet still the war remains invisible, and would be almost forgotten if not for the singing of the national anthem. As teachers, we often zip through this war as if it is an embarrassing blunder for the country in losing our capital city, and it only serves as an introduction for Andrew Jackson. However, due to the war's unique perspectives, it can present a lesson on diversity and interpreting events from 1 to 4 perceptions. The War of 1812 involved the British, Americans, Canadians, and Indians, yet the latter two are erased from the narrative altogether. While there are numerous accounts of the American side of the war through the eyes of its sailors on the sea, like Joshua Davis, being wrongfully impressed, or of an 1813 journal recounting the exploits of Kentucky volunteers under General Winchester, and the travails they faced when 2 of their party were captured by the Indians. In only reading these 2 accounts, a picture begins to emerge of the battles and the general course of events, but does not reveal any other perspective to the war except the Americans. It does not explain why the Indians debate amongst themselves to side with the Americans or the British for who would help them keep their land, nor does it reveal a weakened British Navy seeking sailors for its defense against Napoleon Bonaparte and his growing shadow of power over the continent of Europe. Also, the Canadian viewpoint is not voiced as well, although in close proximity to America with a free offer of camaraderie since the creation of the United States. Canada chose to continue to stay at the Crown, as she did once again in 1812, in part due to the number of Tories or Loyalists who had fled there at the end of the American Revolution. Loyalties were clearly divided, and causes for fighting were much dearer to all involved than just liberty for one country. Therefore, to hook students into this topic, technology is the right portal. There are various websites which offer interactive and 360-degree tours of War of 1812 battlefields, as well as inclusion of accounts from all 4 perspectives. For example, the virtual exhibit of 1812 stresses the importance of Tecumseh, an important Indian leader, as well as being instrumental in both Canadian and American history. The death of Tecumseh is even depicted in the Capitol Rotunda in the Tapestry Frieze of History. By allowing students to access just more than the standard account written from one side, whether the victors or losers, as well as through the eyes of the common soldier, the takeaway for this diversity lesson is a much richer and a stronger connection to material is gained. One assignment to ensure students fully explore all electronic resources to fully develop a clear picture of all sides of the War of 1812 would be to assign topics from primary sources supplemented by reenactments and 360-degree tours in which students compare the facts of the accounts, but also pull out the emotional side in which they'll be able to separate motives from duty. Also, if you have access to virtual reality, you can create a Google expedition and walk your students through a particular battle or event, such as the bombing of Fort McHenry, which would further concrete the facts, events, and create a tangible hold to the material. I'm Sarah Davis-Leonard, and thank you for watching. Good night.